I'm Amanda Lee.
I'm Matt Latham.
I'm Ryan Dombrowski.
And I'm Trevor Wilson.
Now, our city was San Diego, California. A little bit about San Diego. It's in Southern California. It's about 20 miles north of Mexico, 120 miles south of Los Angeles. It's approximately 372 square miles. It has 200 feet deep canyons and hills separating mesas. The mesas are the top picture, kind of like the hills, you can see them. And then Cowles Mountain is the highest in the city. And there's three main geographic regions in San Diego: the Coastal Plain region, the Peninsular Ranges region, and the Salton Trough region. These regions are mainly made up of the sedimentary rocks and metavolcanic rocks and the plutonic rocks. The plutonic rocks are made up of oceanic crust that was brought in and then made into volcanic rocks, and then the volcanic rocks produced a lot of magma, which then created the plutonic rocks. In the Coastal Plain region, there's the Mesozoic crystalline rocks, which is what is also in the Cowles Mountain. In the Peninsular Ranges regions, there's marbles, gneiss, schist, and slates. And in the Salton Trough regions, it makes up 1/3 of San Diego, and the sediments are up to 5 miles deep from mountain ranges, and sediments have also been deposited there for over 75 million years from the seas and the rivers. A little bit about the climate and weather in San Diego. It's 1,500 feet above sea level. The average precipitation is 9 to 12 inches, and the average temperature is 63.2 degrees Fahrenheit. It's actually voted one of the best places to live because of its climate and weather, because the winters aren't that bad and the summers aren't that hot. And there's different faults in San Diego. I think the main one that everyone thinks of is the San Andreas Fault, but there's also Rose Canyon, Point Loma Fault Zones, and San Jacinto Fault Zones. The Laguna Mountains are pictured below, and then it's also a hilly geography in San Diego because of the Cowles Mountain and the Laguna Mountains. And like I said, there's many faults in San Diego. The main one is Rose Canyon. It actually runs right through San Diego. If you can see the red line, that's the San Andreas Fault, and San Diego is at the bottom left-hand corner. The Rose Canyon Fault runs through the urban area of San Diego, so if it would happen to go off, it would probably destroy most of urban San Diego. But it hasn't gone off since, I think they said, the European settlers. And then the possible natural disasters in San Diego, we found earthquakes, flooding, landslides, and wildfires. The earthquakes only happen about 1 to 2 every few decades. And the flooding, because of the hilly area and occasional heavy rainfall. And then the wildfires. The most recent was the Cedar Fire in 2003, which burned over 280,000 acres because of the Santa Ana winds, which are dry winds from offshore.
So now, the first hazard we're going to talk about is earthquakes. And earthquakes present the worst and most common hazard for San Diego. And like she said, major earthquakes are not that common, but minor earthquakes can occur pretty frequently. There was actually one about a month ago. San Diego is in Southern California. This is one of the most seismically active areas in the United States. And then again, major earthquakes only occur once every few years, but minor earthquakes are much more common than that. Earthquakes are common because there are many faults in the San Diego area, and most of them are in the Imperial Valley, is the name for this. And this includes the San Andreas, San Jacinto, and the Elsinore faults. First, the San Andreas Fault. This is what people normally think of when they think of Southern California. The San Andreas Fault is the largest fault, but it is the furthest away from San Diego compared to the other faults here. But if a large magnitude earthquake were to occur on the San Andreas Fault, it would still cause damage in San Diego. The San Jacinto Fault is it's the largest active fault in the region because it's much closer to San Diego there. And then earthquakes can reach a magnitude of about 7.5, and that would cause major damage for the whole area. The Elsinore Fault, and this is even closer to San Diego. It's only about 40 miles from the city. And then the earthquakes aren't common here, but major earthquakes could reach a magnitude of up to 7. And then the Rose Canyon Fault, this is the fault that is extremely close to the city. The minor faults, like the branch off the Rose Canyon, do go directly beneath San Diego. And the main fault is only 2 to 6 miles away from the city. And this is a picture showing you. You can see the Rose Canyon Fault goes right through San Diego, and then you can just see they get progressively farther and farther away as you go out. So, what to do about earthquakes? Well, they have very strict building codes when new buildings are being produced to prevent damage from earthquakes, and this prevents buildings from collapsing. Well, unless the earthquakes are too severe, in that case it really doesn't matter. And then also millions of dollars have been spent to reinforce older buildings, which helps them to meet the new building codes too. And then for the people, you just have to educate the public. You have to give people guides on how to secure furniture and what to do in case of an earthquake. And then you try to alert the public when earthquakes can occur, but earthquakes are very hard to predict. I mean, even major earthquakes, they really don't occur frequently. I think the last one happened about 1800 I saw, and they said the cycle is about 220 years for a major earthquake, but it's inconsistent, and that's just an average. That's it, earthquakes.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about San Diego flooding problems. I never really thought that San Diego would have a flooding problem since their climate is usually always sunny and fairly dry. But they're ill-equipped to handle a lot of rain, so flooding can be a big issue. Just a small amount of rain can turn out to be very dangerous for the city and the surrounding area. Winter storms, it's usually when main flooding happens because it causes extreme flooding, which flash floods will come in due to heavy rainfall at one period of time. And winter storms can also cause high coastal surf, mudslides, and even snowstorms at higher elevations if the temperature is cold enough. There's some pictures here. The top picture is of Qualcomm Stadium. It's where the San Diego Chargers play at, and it was flooded in 2010, I believe, and actually flooded a day before a college bowl game. So kind of stinks, but anyways, the bottom two pictures just show roads being flooded through. So as you can see, it's a problem. San Diego rainfall. The National Weather Service reports that San Diego averages 43 rainy days and about 12 inches of rain per day. Mission Valley, La Jolla, and the Tijuana River Valley are known to have repeated flood damage. They're the most prone to flooding. And this map here shows the average annual precipitation in inches around San Diego area. Downtown San Diego would be located right around here. Mission Valley, like I said, was just north of San Diego, so right up here. La Jolla up here, and then the Tijuana River Valley is close to the Tijuana Mexican border, and it runs down into Tijuana, Mexico. And then, as you get more inland, you can see they get more rainfall. But as I said, the number 12 here around the San Diego area, that's what their annual rainfall is in inches. An example was in 2010, in December, 900 people were forced to leave their homes in Mission Valley due to flooding, and the storm actually lasted a total of 6 days. So some solutions to the flooding. Chronic flooding can cost the city a lot of money. The mayor, who's Jerry Sanders, he said, when the road behind me gave way, our city was found to expend more than $1.2 million in repairs, and that money was cobbled together from funds that could have been used to advance other projects, and I agree with them. And on October 24th of 2011, San Diego Council approved a $60 million 20-year project to clear waterways. And what this would do, in San Diego, there's these like storm channels that I guess the rain floods to, and those can fill up with debris and other things, and they can clog it up. And this project would clean them and also increase their capacity to hold water, maybe widen them as well. And some other solutions, I thought you could mimic natural systems by encouraging the public to put in rain barrels in their house to collect rain. Also using permeable pavement so the water can soak in instead of rolling to these rain channels and causing more flooding. And also using other low impact developments. So for cleanup after floods, it's important to report any broken utilities, check for gas leaks, or beware of structural damage, report any of these things. It's also important to clean your house thoroughly. After a flood, there's a lot of dirt and bacteria that can infest your house, so you want to make sure you clean that. Use proper disinfecting materials on your walls, floors, ceilings.
I have wildfires, and wildfire, the definition is an uncontrolled fire that takes place in forested or countryside area. These have occurred all throughout history and on all continents except for Antarctica. So it's a problem all over the world, not just in San Diego. But how they occur, 90% are caused by humans. So arson, people are actually wanting to set the fire on purpose. Campfires, so people accidentally don't put it out, or they throw their cigarette on the ground and just don't think much of it. That also can spark the fire. Fireworks, and also I saw an article about the army. They were shooting a machine gun, and one of the bullets made a spark from the gun, and it started a forest fire also. So you just gotta be really careful. And then forest fires do occur naturally by lightning. If it strikes a tree, it can spark and light a fire. Volcanoes and just spontaneous combustion. Part of the reason why this happens is because the climate is really dry and humid. Like they said, we only get 11 inches of rain per year, which is really, really low. So all the bushes and the dry leaves on the ground and the dead trees there are really susceptible to catching on fire. And so once the fire does start, they're really hard to contain because the Santa Ana winds, they flow down to the southwest really, really fast, and they make it really difficult for the firefighters to put out the fires because they keep moving so fast. Some of the effects of wildfires, negatives, they damage property and ecosystems. Last fire, during the 2003 fire, there were 2,000 buildings that were destroyed. They can just level out whole towns if they catch fire. Ecosystems, they can destroy forests and water supply, and kill a bunch of animals and kill some humans. The air quality, after the fire comes through, the air is hard to breathe from all the smoke, and also carbon monoxide is in the air. The economies, if the fire takes out a factory or a farm or kills farming animals, that can really devastate the economy there. This is the fire in 2003. It was the largest wildfire in California history. killed 50 people, it burned 100,000 acres, destroyed 2,000 buildings, and took 19 days to continue. It was just really a wake-up call because they weren't really ready for anything this severe before. But they paid the price with a lot of damage. That's the fire in the background overlooking the city. It got pretty close, but and then where they occurred, this was a fire in 2007. A million people had to evacuate San Diego for the 2007 fire. So it's just not in one spot, it's all around, so that's what makes it so hard to contain, and that's why it's so deadly, because it's all over the place. Some geological effects. It restricts the expansion of the city. If people want to like move into the forest area, they have to be careful because they're also susceptible to wildfires. It hurts the economy if it like destroys like the businesses and like industry and such. How you can prevent the wildfires? The firefighters can actually like kind of like make a triangle around the fire that they want to like keep the fire. They want to contain the fire from like expanding, so they make the fire around it so it like removes the fuel so the fire can't like keep growing. So that's one way to stop it. To stop it in the first place, they can enforce stricter laws about putting out campfires and like fireworks that you can have. And they can also have like more park rangers watching the area and like making sure people are following the rules. Like the finance, they can allocate more resources to the fire department so there's more firefighters to fight the fires, and then also like they can invest in new technologies. This is part of what they do to try to take out the wildfires. They just drop these big like chemicals on it to try to put it out. And for like homeowners, they can require like fireproof materials used in buildings so they're like least susceptible to catch on fire, and keep them from being built in hazardous areas where they're more likely they can catch on fire. And educational campaigns. This is Smokey Bear. This has been around since 1944, and the campaign is only you can prevent wildfires. So, other references. So that concludes our presentation.
Questions?